Hey guys, it's Tara from Raw Food Livin', and I am in Copenhagen, Denmark right now, just getting ready for my trip up to Sweden. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how I was able to move all the way from Canada to Europe. I've already talked about why I chose to move from Canada to Europe specifically, and I will link to that video below, but in this video, I'm going to talk about the logistics of how I actually made it happen. Because I started to have the desire to move to Europe about the fall of 2016, but I didn't actually make the decision to go through with this, to take action to move to Europe, until about the first week of January of 2017. So in about a month and a half, I went from having no way and no idea of how I would ever move to Europe, to a month and a half later actually moving here and taking action to do so with my dog Pepsi. And these are the steps that I took to actually make this happen. The first thing that I had, and that I think is absolutely necessary if you're going to make a big change in your life, is the desire to do it. And I'm not just talking about something that you kind of maybe possibly want. I'm talking about a burning desire where you want something so badly that you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. That's how this was for me. I really wanted to leave Canada. I always have. If you guys want to know more about that, I will talk about that specifically in another video. But I have always known that I desired to live somewhere else, in another country, on another continent. So when I started to get the idea to move to Europe, it was something I wanted very badly. And because I wanted it so badly, it permeated all other areas of my life. It was all I thought about. I became obsessed with the idea. I'm not saying you have to become obsessed with the idea, but you really, really have to want it, because usually with a big life change like this, there are many ways that you can find excuses not to do it. There are many obstacles you have to face, and unless it's something that you really, really want, the odds are you will find an excuse to not let it happen. And that was the truth for me with a big life change like this, is that I could either find excuses as to why I couldn't make it happen, and if I wanted to find excuses, I definitely could have. I could have found a ton of them, or I could work on finding solutions on how to actually make it happen. But the core factor, the key factor in this, was having that desire, having something that I wanted so bad that I would not let anything else stand in my way of getting it. My advice to anyone wanting to make a change in your life is find something that you really truly want to do, and don't let anything stop you from achieving that. The second thing that I needed was the belief that I could actually make it happen. Trust me, a lot of the people I told I was going to move to Europe kind of rolled their eyes at me and went, yeah, okay, Tara, she's off on another one of her dreams. But I didn't let any of that stop me, because I believed truly that I could make it happen, and that I was the only one who had the power to do so. And because I have read and listened to so many of the teachings about the law of attraction and the people who promote this idea that you can have whatever you want in life, I know how important it was for me to believe in myself. To have the desire first, yes, but then also believe that it was possible. Because without the belief that you can actually have what you want, this is where most people get stuck. If you don't believe in yourself, you're never gonna make it happen. Like I said, I could have come up with excuses, but instead I chose to believe that anything was possible, and that if I wanted it badly enough, I could do whatever it took to move from Canada to Europe. Because it's not an easy thing to move all the way to a different continent with your dog. But belief in myself was a key component of this. The third thing that I had and needed to have was big and small goals. So I had this end goal of moving to Europe, of the country I wanted to live in, of the general idea of what I wanted when I got there. That's a huge goal, and that can seem like it's completely unattainable unless you break it down into smaller bite-sized chunks, which is exactly what I did. So I had goals that I could work on every single day, and goals that I could work on weekly to actually achieve this dream. So with the big end goal of moving to Europe, I had other little goals like get a visa, change my resume into a CV, find jobs, find a place to live, arrange living quarters when I get there with family or friends. So there were smaller goals that were actually achievable, where I could turn them into action steps to be able to make this happen. And I think goals are such a key part of it. I don't mean goals that I used to set for myself that I thought I had to reach but weren't actually achievable. That's what a goal used to mean to me in the past, was something that I really, really wanted, but I wasn't really sure if I could get it or how to make it happen. I'm talking about goals where you can actually measure your success and measure your progress to see how you're doing. Those are the goals for me that are most effective in my life, because when I achieve it, I actually feel like I've accomplished something, and that was really important for this journey for me. The last and final thing that I needed to make this move from Canada to Europe actually happen was to take action steps every single day. In the beginning, I just had this desire, literally, I had no way of knowing how I was going to make this happen. I just knew that I wanted it bad enough that I was going to make it happen. So the first action step I took, because I didn't know what else to do, was to start selling some of my belongings, because I knew logically that if I wanted to move to a different country, I wasn't gonna bring all my crap with me. So I needed to minimize as much as possible to be able to carry a few bags with me all the way to Europe. So action steps can be anything, even if they are small. And for me in the beginning, they were very small, the steps I took. Literally, it would be each day selling off one more item. And as I started to gain that momentum, I started to get excited and think, okay, what other action could I take? What is the next step? And then from there, what's the next step and the next and the next? Honestly, a lot of the times I think people fail to achieve their dreams, whatever they are, because they don't take action. Everyone's great with the desire. We all know what we want. And it's also really nice and feels good to believe that we can make it happen. And it's even nice to set goals, but without the actual step of taking action on a daily basis, at least that's what I found really important, I feel like we're just kind of stuck in this state of waiting for things to happen, hoping that they're gonna happen, and then maybe being upset or surprised or disappointed when they don't actually happen. So that's why action was so important for me. And so I had big action steps that I took, like applying for the visa to actually get here and getting on the plane, you know what I mean? Like big action. But most of the steps I took before that were really, really small. Like, what can I do in this moment, on this day, to get me closer to my dreams? I didn't look at the big picture as a whole, because that could be really overwhelming. I had a lot to do, a lot to think of, and just a huge list of things that I needed to get done to actually make this happen in 1.5 months, in 6 weeks, that if I looked at it all as a whole, I could have been paralyzed thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna get this done? This is crazy, it's too much. So by looking at it day by day and minute by minute of what can I do right now in this moment, that's how I was able to not become overwhelmed by it and actually make it happen in a really easy flow that ended up in me actually arriving in Europe. So that was the process of how I got Pepsi and I to move to Europe. Really, all I had to do was have the desire, the belief, the goals, and take action on a daily basis and go through the logistical steps to actually get us here. So if you want to see any specific videos about me in Europe and Pepsi in Europe and exploring this new area, let me know what you want to see in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this and more videos with Pepsi, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys next time.